Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog on a brand new year, 2024, January. We're starting here with a brand new project. So what you can see behind me is a Colvic Watson 35-foot ketch, a project being sat here at Preston Marina for roughly around about 20 years. A friend of mine, Matt, bought this vessel and he's been 12 months into the project so far. We're going to document this right the way through. Let's see how he's getting on and let's see what's being done and what's still got to be done. So one of the first jobs Matt did was have the whole shop blasted, took it back down to the gel coat, noticed a few blisters, and then he's decided to go right to town on it and remove pretty much everything and start again. So it's now had, as you can see, he's now been epoxying the hull, and he's done this over last summer where we had some nice weather. The hull dried out very nicely and he's now give it currently 3 coats of epoxy, and it is going to have 4 to finish it off. So he spent a lot of time doing all that work and mixing lots and lots of epoxy and skimming it on and then rubbing it down and then getting it all filled. So it's now had, like I say, 3 coats, and it's going to be having 4 coats of epoxy on this big 35-foot hull, which anyone who does boat projects knows what kind of length this is to mix up lots of epoxy and skim it all in. So there's a lot of work gone into the hull so far. But of course, we're in January, it's very, very cold, and that kind of job stops until the weather warms up again. He's been working on so many other things in the meantime, which you're going to see, and we're going to go on board now and have a look at Emerald Star, and I'll explain a few more things that's been done and what's still to come. Let's go and check that out. So this is the owner of the boat, Matt, Emerald Star. Say hello, Matt.
How are we doing?
Matt, so what's on the time scale for your project? How long are you giving yourself to do it?
2 different time scales, one to get in the water and one to finish everything inside. Obviously we're a year in, but most of that has been cold and wet. Cliff's taking you around the hull. I'm hoping March for the hull and most of the capping rails, everything that can't really do in the water. So 2.5 months I think in the water, and then the second time scale is when it's done.
Okay, so let's have a look inside the Colvic Watson 35. So stepping down into the main saloon, into the main wheelhouse area, as you can see, Matt's working extremely hard and he's got stuff everywhere, which is nothing more than I expect when you're working on a boat of this much work that needs to be done. And straight away you can see the engine room, and you can see it has a 6-cylinder Perkins in it. So looking through at the helm, as you can see, the Colvics have a lovely design of a wheelhouse. The forward sloping windows, which is very much trawler style to me, which is my kind of favourite look. So I'm now going to hand you over to Matt, and he's going to give you the guided tour of what he's done so far.
Emerald Star, Colvic Watson 35. Had it a year, we thought we'd start documenting some of the work as we're about to be doing some big stuff. For the wheelhouse, we're going to be changing these 2 windows out. Have a little look round. Perkins 6 down there. We'll go through some of the stuff we have already fitted and some of the stuff we're going to do. So we've got a new heater in there. We've just done all the pipe work down in the aft cabin. We'll go into that later. Complete mess. 2 doubles in there. that hasn't even been looked at yet. Electrics in here, not looked at yet. So we've just been making it kind of tidy. Come down, we're still a complete mess. Galley, air fryer, awesome. Cooker, that's going. We're going to put an alcohol stove in there. We don't like gas on boats. Batteries in here, not really been looked at. Nice storage. We'll put a TV in straight away. We're going to have some music on. And window needs fitting. Window needs fitting. And I'm just going to start repairing this window. And we're going to put that in place of this one, slightly larger one in the heads. There's nothing in the heads at the moment, just been epoxy in the walls. So this can be just a complete wet room. It should be nice. Heating pipe that we just fitted, but we'll go through all the heating another time. We're going to replace that window as well. And up front I've already done most of the work. So I've done all the headliner. New rings around the portholes. So up here is pretty much done. Just need to take a few bits out. I've got 12 and 240 systems. So yeah, we'll take a video of the outside tomorrow. We'll see, because most of the original work was done on the outside. But we'll just go through fixing this window for the moment.
Okay, so back to outside again. So what Matt's also been doing last year, which is I'm going to show you the other side, all this woodwork right the way around the top here, a lot of it on the other side was completely rotten. So what he has done, let's go on the other side and I'll show you. He has spent a lot of work renewing all that timber. So he has removed it, he steamed the wood, and he's refitted it all along this side. So there's still the other side to do and address to see if he finds any more problems. But so far, a fantastic job of getting all that wood back correct again. Fantastic job so far. Matt's also been filling some holes in the stern of the boat, because it did have a big platform, which you can just see in stainless steel, mounted to the back of the boat. Now, it was either a swim platform, or speaking to Matt, he did also tell me they've extended the rudder. So you can see they've extended the rudder, and he thinks it was either designed as a swim platform or to protect the rudder as it sticks out just that little bit further than it would originally. So as you can see, it's got a decent sized deck area, and Matt has already done 12 months of work on this boat, so there's a lot been done so far. So what you're seeing is a lot cleaner than what it was 12 months ago. So working our way back into the engine room, we're now on top of the Perkins 6. Now, one of the first jobs Matt had to do was sort the fuel tanks out. Now, as you can see, they were very old tanks, so he's cut the tanks completely open to redo them. So we've now got a cutout where the tank used to be. As you can see, he's cut the baffles out, and you can see how big these fuel tanks were. They're now opened up, ready to think of a new design.
So just starting on this window. Unfortunately they've used mild steel, so we're just having to drill these out. We'll just pilot them at about 2.5 mil, and then swap drill. It's about 4 mil just to take these heads off the screws and see if we can split the window. And this is exactly what you want. It's taken the head off the screw, and that one is now clear. So we've got these all piloted out to small drill just to get down the centre, and now we'll take them to a bigger size. Perfect result. We've got the bar, which comes out the back of there. So we'll just have to drill out that, and they will be self-tappers, but we'll use either probably stainless, I think that's brass, and we'll put it in with some copper slip, not mild steel. We've also got a cross member, but these are stainless. They're going to be a bit harder to drill out, and they're both absolutely stick solid. So these are the two bars that hold the two halves of the frames together. I'm going to cut the tops of the screws off. So now we're going to try and drill these out and re-tap them. Luckily, we have access to a pillar drill. Let's give it a go, see what happens. So, as I thought, because the steel's a lot harder than the brass, the drill's running off into the brass. So what we're going to do is bounce the holes down, then grind the other ones flat. So 4 new holes. New holes. Now this is something a lot of people disagree with. Power tapping using the tap in a drill. I've always done it, never had any problems. We've drilled to 2.5, we're doing an M3 thread. I think it's meant to be a 2.2 drill, but we don't have one, so we've gone 2.5. So simple as that. Now we've got our bar, 4 new threads cut in, and we're just going to see these high spots, just going to take them off with the grinder, see what it comes out like. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we've got our bar with M3s in. Now we can test fit it into the frame. Okay, just the first test fit. Okay, it's a tiny gap, but gets that sorted. And probably have to trim the screws down a little bit. That's fine. So one of the hardest bits so far has been cleaning the frames, and found that orbital sander on 120 brings them up, but leaves them fairly scored. But then a bit of scotch flatten them off quite nicely from this to this. Next, this is the old wiper blade that had cleaned the window. It was slotted in here. It's absolutely shot. So we've bought and taken off there just a small windscreen wiper. And we're going to see if we can make something happen. Okay, so this is the old knackered one. And by trimming the back off the wiper blade, we get this, which looks the perfect profile. Cut it slightly short. It won't sit in the gully, but I reckon I can put that in with CT1 and that will stay. Okay, next we are going to test fit the new sliding window seal. So it's a U-shape track with obviously rubber. On the inside it has flock, so it can slide. We've pulled the old piece out and we've cleaned out the channel where it's going. Still got a bit of epoxy in there that needs to clean out, but we're just going to test fit it, see how that goes. Okay, this is the new seal. Left a bit over just so that we can trim off. We haven't glued it in yet anyway. And just test fit this glass. Sits in beautifully and seals up nicely and slides like a good one. So managed to get a Halford's replacement 11-inch windscreen wiper in the sliding channel. We'll only see if it's the right size, thickness, depth when we stick it all in. So it's time to install the strips of flock. So I've just put a run of CT1 inside. I didn't know whether to use epoxy or CT1. I'm trying CT1. I think it'll work. I'm just going to smudge that all around and then install the flock. Okay, we've put the seal on the main window. All the flock is in. We've got our little brass inserts in, can't see, each side. And we're ready for a fit. I'm just going to put a tiny bead CT1 round here because the seal is a bit tired. I just couldn't find any new stuff. Now, one thing that bugged me about this window was the amount of holes. It had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. None on the corners, and it's a big window. For example, the one that it's replacing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24 in there, in a much smaller window. So we've just gone and measured the space in between each one and put a new hole in. We haven't countersunk them yet, and we've made sure there's one on the corner just to pull the corners in. So hopefully that'll give it a much better seal. So we're on a different job today. We've got a piece of teak and we're cutting some supports for the aft cabin roof. So we know our measurement across, which is 91.5 inches on this, but it has a curve on the roof. And we know that at the end of the roof, it is 6 centimetres or about 5 centimetres lower because it's an arch. So what we've done, found the centre point here, and we've gone up 5 centimetres. Now we need to draw an arc coming down to there. I couldn't figure out how to do it, but what we've done, because would be absolutely vast. So we've got a piece of string all the way over to there, which would be the centre of the circle. And if we put it on this mark and come across, touches the edge there, and all the way back over, just a bit off. So we just need to adjust a few bits, and then it will give us our perfect arc over the top. So in the aft cabin, the roof was completely collapsed because it had gas cans and generators and stuff on the back. So this is the piece we've cut, and we've jacked it up into position and made a couple of knees that sit on this. This is incredibly thick, so that's going to take the weight. Single screw, and we've got one at the back. Come around here so we can see. We've just jacked it to get the shape back in the roof, and this is the knee we're making, and that's just gonna hammer into there, and then we'll drill and screw, so we'll just knock that into position. So this is what we've been supporting, and we can see now it's got some shape to it. It was just completely dipped in two areas here and the same on the other side. So it's all back to shape now, and we can stand on it without it feeling like it's all going to snap. Hatch is next. So now we're on the outside of the hatch, so you can see the frame we've made in there, and we've just put little chocks in, square everything up, and then we've put some screws in just to bring it down. We're test fitting everything, then we're going to glass fibre all this in. We chop strand, glass it all up, screw these down, but we're just cleaning up the top at the moment, getting all this old sealant off, see what we're dealing with. So we have our hatch frame cut. Fortunately, we did get one little split in it. I'll be able to repair that, no problem. It's all looking good. It's all out of one piece. There's quite a gap down here. It will glass it, and then it'll all be one solid piece all the way through. Because the old frame was bent because they just screwed it straight to this, which does have a curve on it. So now when we put the frame in, it will sit completely flat. When we put the hatch in, it'll sit completely flat inside this frame and hopefully won't leak again. So one issue we've run into, I didn't realise this was actually two pieces of wood spliced. You can just see the old joint there. It has come apart. So we're going to try and biscuit joint it, where you just take a tiny sliver out the inside, possibly two, and then glue a piece in with epoxy, because wood glue does not work on teak. So now what we've got is our joint, two slots. Just got a piece of teak, planed it to size, so then we will chop it down, and that's going to sit in both of those and all be epoxied in, and one piece again. So we've mixed some epoxy and we've put the fillet in there and the the biscuit joint in there, and we're just going to let that set. We can clean it all up, sand it to shape, and get it back on. So we're just prepping the surface now. That's what we're doing. You can't stick on any of the shiny, so we just took an angle grinder, cut the outline of the actual frame that's going on. I'm just going along with the chisel. It's fairly easy if you can get underneath it, and we're just taking it all back down to the chop strand so we get a much better adhesion. But one thing we do have to do first is take our acetone. Teak is oily, so we're just going to rub down this surface, the surface that will go to the glass fibre, with acetone, get some of the oil out of it. Okay, just test it. I think we're ready to mix our putty. Throw it in and see what happens. Okay, so we've got the hatch all rebuilt, hopefully sealed, frame in place. We've just marked it up and drilled with a taper drill. Got our screws ready,
We're going to bond it with CT1, and then we're going to put wood skin in with the screws to seal the screw thread. Okay, nice bead of CT1 all the way around and just a touch round. So we drop the hatch into place, all good. And what we'll do, take our screw, just dip it in the wood skin or a varnish of your choice and put it in, and that will seal the thread as it goes in. I can see really nicely just a little pool of the varnish building up, so as we screw in, that's going down the thread and making sure that that will be completely sealed inside, so even if water gets down the screw hole, it's not going to get into the wood. Then we just wipe off the excess and we're done. You can see that bedding down really nicely. So when I first got the boat, the aft cabin here was absolutely crushed in two places. On this side was one of the giant red gas bottles, and on the other side was a 5 kV generator which took two of us and a forklift to lift off. So you can imagine the weight. So there's a support across here, all the way across, one on the other side. They completely collapsed. So the mast step was on an angle like this, come right down, so we've had to support that inside. We've put an acro screw in there, and we spent ages just jacking everything very slowly with some wood lumps, the car jack, and brought it all back up to shape. And now if you look just across it, you can see it actually now curves down. We're going to put one more support in here, so it's just still a tiny bit low, and that's what's caused all these cracks all over, because it had all just sunk so far down. You can see it's crushed, gone in, and now we've just brought it all slowly back up to shape. And now, if you stood on it before, the entire thing just went up and down, but now I can safely walk on, find a bit of movement, but absolutely fine. Here where the main weight was, we will put one more support in because there's still just a bit of movement there.
So yes, that's where we're up to so far, guys. Please stay tuned to the channel, watching Matt's progress. I'll be down here as much as I can come to carry on documenting stuff as we're doing it, but these videos will come out as and when Matt has done another section, so we'll put a video out each time he's got so far ahead, and hopefully you'll see a finished product and even launching it back into the water. So that'll be soon, hopefully March. We're only a few months away, so let's just see if we can carry on with that and let Matt get his work done. I'm going to leave him to it, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Please like and subscribe and follow Matt's journey for the channel. So we'll see you again soon, guys. Take care.